Question two, we are given the input for a couple different functions and we're asked to identify what the output is. So again, the way this works is this value x is 6 is the value that's substituted into the function. So um, this value -6 has to end up wherever x is on this side of the function, right, where we're evaluating it. Probably the most common error that I saw was just failure to use parentheses and understand what we're writing here. So I start out with 2 times, and then in parentheses I have a -6, and that's what gets squared, right? The -6 gets squared, and then I'm adding 3 to that result, and then I'm going to divide that entire thing by a -3. Take a look at what you did closely. I saw students multiplying by 2 first and then squaring that result. Um, I saw people squaring -6 and writing down that had an answer of -36, which it doesn't. When I multiply -6 times itself, I get positive 36. So this ends up becoming 2 times 36. I'll just write it here, 2 times the number 36. And then we add 3 to that, and then we are dividing it by -3. -3. 2 times 36 ends up being like 72, I think, yes. And 72 plus 3 is the number 75. So I've got 75 in the numerator, -3 in the denominator, and when I do that division, I get that this output is exactly the number -25. So when -6 is placed into this function, it produces a value of -25. So that was our answer for 2a, -25. Something similar for b. If you look at b, please understand, if you see that and you write down -4 squared, you don't understand what this is saying. It is not saying take the opposite of whatever you get when you square 4. This is saying x is getting squared, okay? So I'm setting up here parentheses. Something's going to get squared. What is the something? Well, the something can be happiness, right? Or the something can be sadness, or the something could be, craziness. Something is getting squared. In this case, the something that's getting squared is the value -4. So I'm squaring -4, and then I'm subtracting 4 times another value, and that value is -4 again. So if I look at this, -4 times -4 produces positive 16. So this is a positive 16. And then a -4 times a -4 is again another positive 16. So I end up getting a value of positive 32. 32 is what comes out of this function. If you abused this notation, if you wrote on your paper -4 squared and then you declared that to be a positive 16, it is not. No, it is not positive 16, because this notation says take the opposite of what you get when you square 4, right? So 4 gets squared, and then we take the opposite of it. So you can think about it like this. This is like -1 times 4 squared, which is -1 times 4 times 4. What we have is x -4, all of it is getting squared, right? So -4 gets squared, and then we move on from there. So the answer here was 32.